In the morning, presented by First Commonwealth Bank on the Voice of Indiana County, WCCS 101.1 FM and AM 1160, and our interviews right now presented by Marcus and Mack, a law firm representing injured people. Joining me on the phone right now, Jim Struzzi, of course, of the State House of Representatives, representing our district. Jim, good morning. How was your holiday?
Good morning, Josh. Thanks for having me on. Obviously, like everyone, the holidays were a bit different this year, but I do want to take this opportunity to wish everyone listening a Happy New Year. I hope that everyone had safe gatherings and were able to enjoy some time with family and friends as much as possible. But, you know, it's been a challenging year. It's been a challenging holiday season, but I hope that we can all find, faith and hope in our hearts through these times and look forward to an upcoming more positive 2021.
Well, that sounds like a great message right there, Jim. Thanks a lot for that. And right back to you as well. But let's talk about 2021. Now, we know this year has been a challenge with everything that has come through. What sort of challenges or things are you anticipating seeing the PA House having to deal with when 2021 rolls around?
Well, we definitely have some heavy lifting ahead of us, Josh. A number of issues that are going to carry through. First and foremost, the COVID pandemic. We still have a lot of work to do to help people survive this, to get businesses back on their feet, to get families back to normal, to get people healthy. So I think we have a lot of work to do on that front when we return for our legislative session here, starting next week, actually. We're going to have to continue to address the regional greenhouse gas initiative that the governor and the DEP continues to push forward, even through this pandemic and the holiday season. As you know, the comment period continues. People can still submit comments through January, so I would encourage listeners that are concerned with the economic impacts of the greenhouse gas initiative, essentially the carbon tax on Indiana County, to continue to submit that testimony. And clearly, we have some election issues that we have to continue to deal with. People have many concerns, allegations of fraud and misconduct during this election, some of the things that were enacted last minute by the governor's administration. We need to address those concerns. We need to make sure that people have faith in our election process moving forward so that when we return for the primary, we don't have these questions and uncertainties as part of our process. It's very important that people have confidence in our elections to know that their votes legally are going to be counted.
Well, as you said, it's been a challenge for this year, and a lot of challenges that many people didn't see coming. You mentioned a couple of them, including the election challenges. Of course, the coronavirus has definitely put things into a little bit of has put a monkey wrench into the works. But I guess the business of state government is going to continue, pandemic or not.
Absolutely. We have some very important things that we need to address. I think first and foremost, we have to look at our tax structures. Property taxes continue to be a big issue, not just for Indiana County residents, but for people across this Commonwealth. We have to look at our business tax structures. But Pennsylvania continues to keep its doors shut to growth. Our economy is suffering, not simply because of the pandemic this year, but overall. We continue to have policies that push business to other states, that push capital investment to other states. We need to change that. I'm really concerned, Josh, with mental health issues, behavioral health issues. This pandemic has certainly taken a lot of the attention away from people who suffer from mental health issues and addiction issues. But, behind the scenes, people, our recovery specialists, the people here locally that I work with very closely, those numbers are increasing. Suicides are increasing. Domestic issues are increasing. Those are something that we have to really be prepared to deal with. So I'm going to reintroduce a lot of the bills that I put out there in my first session that did not make it across the finish line, including Cody's Law. You're aware of the situation that happened on the Hoodle Bug.
Oh, yeah.
Last year that unfortunately made it out of the House but did not make it out of the Senate. So I will be reintroducing that. Last year I commissioned House Resolution 268 that basically conducted a study of our behavioral health issues in our hospitals. Basically, where do we need more resources? What are some of the problems that our local administrators face in dealing with mental and behavioral health issues in our emergency rooms? So that report was published earlier this year. What I'd like to do then next moving forward is to look at the recommendations from that report and create legislation that addresses those needs so that we can make sure that people in our healthcare network are receiving the proper treatment and the adequate treatment for their needs in our emergency rooms and in our hospitals, and to make sure that our hospitals, including Indiana Regional Medical Center, have the resources they need to treat people properly.
Of course, the big thing about what you mentioned with IRMC is the fact that they've received their first few shipments of the coronavirus vaccine, and of course, there's going to be some big things coming with IRMC as well down the pike. But it just seems like there's good news on the horizon. Do you see any of that in the state Congress?
Absolutely, Josh. There's a lot of good things in the works. I know that myself and a number of my colleagues are very eager to pass positive legislation that moves Pennsylvania in the right direction, that takes some of the handcuffs off of our businesses and our communities to allow them to grow and prosper. I think it's important that at times you realize the government needs to get out of the way as well. So I think you're going to see a lot of that moving forward. Clearly, it's going to be a rough year budgetarily ahead. I'm going to be on the Appropriations Committee again in my second term, and I look forward to that opportunity. But we have to find new ways to generate new revenue. We can't continue to tax people further. We need to make sure we're putting money back into people's wallets. The immediate concerns, though, as we mentioned at the beginning of this segment, related to COVID, the election, the economy, all those have to be addressed. But I'm very excited to roll up my sleeves and continue to work on positive bills that will help people, help their daily lives, help Pennsylvania, not only short term, but 5, 10, 15 years from now.
You mentioned the budget, and I think this is the first time, at least in my knowledge of covering state government, the budget had to be approved in two parts. One kind of a stopgap budget to take us through one part of the year, and the budget being approved for the second part of the year. Do you anticipate things getting back to normal as normal as you possibly can with budget talks, budget work for the upcoming budget year? I'm assuming that the governor is probably already getting his version of the budget ready, and you're getting your version of the budget ready through your committee.
Yes, absolutely. I think the most important thing that we can do, though, is to get people back to work. Ease up on these restrictions on restaurants and the hospitality industry. When people are making money, our state revenues are better because people are spending money, and that really is as simple as it gets. We have to get people back to normal. Obviously, we have to address the healthcare concerns, and I'm glad to see that the vaccine is out there now. I think that's going to be pivotal in getting things reopened and getting people more confident. We have to get our kids back to school, full time. I think there's a lot of unfortunate absences that these kids are going to be experiencing. I feel really bad for seniors right now who are in high school and maybe missing out on opportunities because of the COVID pandemic. So, first and foremost, we have to address those needs to get people back to normal. Then I think, once people are comfortable going out again, doing things that we do normally in life, we'll see those state revenues increase, and that will hopefully make it a lot easier come June to get a budget that addresses all those needs without further taxing people.
Excellent. Hey, Jim, thank you very much for joining us this morning on Indiana in the Morning. All the best to you. Happy New Year, and I hope that it is a good and safe and healthy one. Thanks again.
Thank you, Josh.
All right, Jim Struzzi joining us on Indiana in the Morning, presented by First Commonwealth Bank. Our interview segments presented by Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people.